Yo, what's up, team? Coach Patrick from Endurance Nation and TriathlonExecution.com. Just here to talk a little bit today about training camps and why you've got to get a camp on your schedule for your season. It's early June. We just did our camp for Placid, which means anyone who's racing Wisconsin, Louisville, Canada, Cozumel, Arizona, or any number of foreign races that are beyond the Lake Placid time frame. Putting a training camp into your Ironman training schedule is a huge way to build fitness without compromising the overall time suck that it takes to train long every weekend. Let me give you a little bit more background on that. Inside our world, inside Endurance Nation, for those of you who don't know, majority of our people spend the bulk of their year riding less than an hour and a half. The last 12 weeks in a race prep, those rides go up to about 4.5 hours. We do 2 rides of 112 miles, and that's it. Those are the only rides that are longer than 4.5 hours. So the majority of the time we spend is going shorter and harder. The meat and potatoes work that people do in the basic month, which is about anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks, and then leading into the race prep period, is about a 3-hour, 2.5 to 3.5 hour ride at about 85% of their functional threshold in terms of power, and in terms of heart rate, it's pretty much like zone 3, anywhere from mid to upper zone 3. People spend a lot of time doing a lot of work, accumulating a lot of training load there. And in our world, moving from that hard work to the endurance work is not hard. It's a mental deal, it's a nutritional deal. And this past camp was a great example of that. We had Mike, formerly Triathlon from the forums, come in, drove all the way up from Virginia for some serious training. Hadn't ridden longer than 4 hours since 2006. It's 2009, people. Been over 3 years. Dude dropped in, did 112 on Wednesday, did 56 on Thursday, did 112 on Friday, and then did 100 on Saturday. All coming off of just standard meat and potatoes rides inside Endurance Nation with no mega volume on his side. And people say, people think that there's this sort of magical element around building endurance. He was able to ride just a little bit faster on Friday as compared to what he rode on Wednesday, with basically a half Ironman in the middle on Thursday. And what I want to reiterate to you, just as using the sample of one, and also my own experience and stuff like that, is to say that endurance training is overrated. You do not need to spend a ton of time in zone 1 and zone 2 to be able to ride 6 hours. There's no need to ride 112 miles to get good at riding 112 miles. Riding 112 miles is predominantly, if you pace it properly, is predominantly a mental exercise and has very little to do with high-end physical fitness. Now, riding 2-3 hours hard, that's serious work. That's where we build our fitness. That's where we build the strength that's going to enable you to ride those 112 faster, both in your race simulations and on race day. So how do you do it? Well, you follow a quality program, you follow the details of the plan, you don't get distracted by all the extra miles that people are doing, unless you have some kind of wicked cool opportunity to do some kind of miles or century. And what you want to do is start thinking about putting together either a big weekend or a big week. A big weekend will be 3 days, a big week would be about 5, and your goal is to get in anywhere in the neighborhood of about 100 miles a day on average. On a big weekend, I would look at, say, 100, 100, and then 50. So you're getting 250 on a big weekend. On a big week, the schedule that we laid out this year, which was pretty effective for most people, was 2 big rides back to back, an easy Friday, and then another big Saturday, and then Sunday being the long run. So for the coaches, it ended up being 100, 112, 65, and then 100. And so that really kind of allowed us to get in 2 good days. When the fatigue built up, we stepped it down a little bit, and then we hit it again one more time. And that kind of volume, the ability to ride almost 400 miles in 4 days, which is practically double what people would ride on any other given Ironman training period, really dials you into your bike fit. Lets you know right away if there's problems with your fit. You're going to find it in your back, in your arms, in your neck, in your nether regions. If you've got issues, you're going to find it out. You learn a lot about nutrition and what your body really needs, both in terms of regular training, but also when you're under duress, when you're carrying a lot of fatigue. In other words, a properly paced 112-mile ride on day 1 when you're fresh doesn't really begin to show much. But as you become more and more fatigued over time, that 112 mile again on Saturday, day 4 of your 5-day training block, for example, then all of a sudden some wrinkles start to show up. You realize that you don't really like fruit punch flavor anymore, or you can't really eat gels after 3 hours, or when you had that Snickers bar, it really kind of perked you up. Things like that you really start to learn about yourself nutritionally, which is huge. And then ultimately, when we look at the data, a block like this really bumps up your chronic training load. We take a chart, a graph that's got your sort of natural fitness incline. If you're here now, we can sort of project that you're going to be up here by the end of another 3 months with consistent training. We basically just bump this whole level up another notch, which is going to subsequently raise the rest of your chronic training. And it's done so by riding at a smart intensity, riding consistently, back-to-back big miles in a short block with a lot of quality recover on the back end. I haven't worked out for 2 days. That allows you to stay healthy, to gain all the fitness that you need, and then translate that back into your hard work. So as you start thinking about your race, the second half of 2009, I strongly urge you to consider picking up a big weekend or a big week. Use the forums to schedule it. Use the resources on our blog around how to build your own personal week. But understand that you don't need to slog away week after week after week to build the appropriate fitness that's going to allow you to excel on Ironman race day. It can be done in a big weekend. It can really complement the hard, intense work that we do on the team here. And ultimately, it can be a lot of fun if you pick a good venue and get some good folks together. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, folks. It's just a game. All right, Coach Patrick signing off. I got to motivate for my ride. Now it's all cloudy outside after 5 beautiful days in Lake Placid. Makes it kind of hard to get out the door. Hope you guys have a great one. Be safe out there, be fast, and have fun.